That's for sure. Yeah. And then what are your thoughts on TeslaBot? Elon sort of really nailed the hammer on this and tried to communicate to the best of his ability the real large impact that this would have on Tesla over the next few years.
Yeah,
exactly. So what are your thoughts on TeslaBot overall? And do you think that institutions aren't really taking it too seriously? I think maybe possibly.
I think they assigned a negative to it. I think I think that the institutions treated that as a negative, a lack of focus. You saw that through the sell-off. See, this is the thing that pisses me off. Okay. Elon says, I'm not going to do these calls again. I'm only going to come on if it's worth it now. I'm too busy. I got to prepare for these quarterly calls. I got to listen to 10 stupid questions from analysts, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. So then he says, I'm going to come out. I'm going to do this call and I'm going to give you a product roadmap and tell you what we're thinking about for the future. And he goes out and tells everybody what he's thinking about for the future, and the institutions panic and sell the stock. It's unbelievable. Like, we're beginning the age of robotics and they sell the stock. And I said it in an interview, which looks better now because the stock rallied since then. But I was like, you've got to be an idiot to sell the stock after this earnings report. You just got to be a stupid idiot. And I was like, where in this report was the bad part? The bad part is that he's now identified an amazing extension of their business. Now, imagine if Steve Jobs released the iPhone and he said, oh, I also got this idea for this thing called the iPad too. And they sold the stock. It's the same idea. It's like, oh, he's not focused on the phone. The phone's still got all these issues. And now he's telling us about an iPad. Why do I want that? Sell the stock. And that's kind of what people. So most people in my mind, I think I get a lot of sort of attention because I sort of decipher Elon's statements. And then I tweet don't you get it? This is what he's saying. And then people are like, yeah, I guess that is what he's saying. And I'm like, I guess a lot of people just they hear one thing and then they don't hear the other thing. So what is a car? A car is a robot and it drives you and you control this robot. It has, no brain, 4 wheels, and this thing called an engine. And it really was a simplistic, dumb robot that took you from A to B. Okay. So then Elon created a brain for this and said, okay, now with 1,000 million variables of driving, now let's get you from A to B without you driving this manually. Probably one of the most difficult AI challenges you could ever ask for. Okay. So then he realizes as he's trying to build all these cars and stuff that there's certain repetitive motions and jobs that are hard to fill, lots of turnover, not great jobs, not great paying jobs. And maybe this is a great area for robotics. And he's like, if I'm already building eyes and I'm already building brains, boy, it's pretty easy to train this brain to do repetitive tasks. Now, if you go into a Tesla factory right now, half the factory is the most amazing thing you've ever seen. It's like robots and sparks flying. And it's like, if you were ever going to imagine this sort of alien dreadnought factory, that's half the Tesla factory. And then you go to the general assembly line and it's like an old school car line where people are putting together the wirings of the car and all that. Because there's lots of wirings in a Tesla car. And that's why humans have to be involved. Now you look at some of these tasks and you say, why couldn't I build a robot to do this? And then it would take a huge burden off the amazing amount of labor intensity of building these cars, because we could take some of the worst jobs and replace them with robots, and we could program them with the same programming, the same stuff we're already building. But it's easier to build a robot than a car that drives themselves. And I'm like, didn't people get that he wants to build a machine that builds the machines? And if I'm going to build a machine that builds a machine, I have to have robots that accurately do the jobs that need to be done. And I don't think it's that hard to build these things. Okay. Then you go into phase 2. Every vision of the future has bots. Every vision of the future from Star Wars on, there's no space movie that doesn't have robots involved. Why would we imagine a future that doesn't have bots when we've always imagined a future with bots? So here's the guy who's finally going to bring this to us and sell the stock, so I think the opportunity for Tesla bots is enormous long-term. If you think 10 years from now, how will a modern factory look? Boy, Tesla bots could be a an enormous business. But if you're caught up with your sort of like, oh, these robots walking around a factory like R2D2 and CP3O is fantasy from Star Wars and it'll never happen, you're wrong. It's going to happen. You're going to have droids. I was watching Boba Fett last night. Can you imagine Star Wars without a droid? I mean, half the job. Like they had this one that does all the cutting, like in the kitchen, and it had like 7 arms and it was cutting, And I was like, exactly. Like, that's what I need. I need like a cooking bot. So I think we all want Rosie, Rosie from the Jetsons, which many younger people don't remember the Jetsons. We all want Rosie, the robot, to come and like do my laundry and make me breakfast and stuff. So that's kind of my dream for the robot is like, I wake up in the morning and robots made me breakfast and my wife's happy and the kids are dressed, but I think it's going to happen. And I think Tesla is the person to do it.
Yeah, if there's anyone to make it happen, I mean, it's Elon, right?
But I think that he's not focused on cars because he's building a robot is not the right process. He's trying to build as many EVs as possible. So robots are a solution for Tesla. Just like Tesla Semi is a solution for Tesla first, because they truck batteries every day between Fremont and Nevada, And so it's like, when you think about solving the problems your company has first and then selling those to other companies, it's a different thing than like, oh, we're just going to manufacture and sell a robot. That's not what he's really doing. He's solving his issues with robotics, which he'll then commercialize. It's genius.